Had another thought when I was just packing away for the day. I want to talk about social media for a minute and see if I can get some of you to respond to me um, as it pertains to guitars, buying, collecting, playing, musicianship, that sort of thing. I'm getting the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm getting the impression that more and more people are checking out. Um, I have friends that were active on social media um, and now aren't. I have friends that were advertising on social media, whether it's for their music or for their guitar sales or what have you, and not so much now. Um, there are some that have jumped platforms that used to be on Facebook and now they're concentrating on Instagram or TikTok. But I'm seeing a lot of people just sort of fading away and just realizing it's not all that. It's not as great as they thought it was going to be, or maybe it's the novelty's worn off, or it's too much work. I mean, you constantly have to keep feeding into it to get anything out of it, sort of thing. You spend half your day online, um, you know, for very little reward, and when you could be out in the woods looking at the bluebells. So I'm wondering if that's true, or if that's just my impression, or maybe it's just my demographic or my age group. A lot of people that I know are just spending less and less time on there, going back to looking for things in real time, real marketplace, face to face, finding entertainment away from being online all the time and not needing that constant validation of other people's likes and subscribes. I guess it doesn't pertain to YouTube because I think that's as popular as ever. At least it appears that way. Seems to be a lot of new channels cropping up. I'm talking about more like your Facebook, uh, Instagram type thing. Yeah, everybody's got an account, but a lot of people don't use them. A lot of people are hardly ever on there. A lot of people are on there for 2 minutes. They don't really scroll like they used to. They don't check out stuff like they used to. And I'm just wondering if collectively we're all getting a little bit, you know, um, over it, sort of done with it, sort of thing. It's the shine's wore off, the polish is gone. I remember back in the day, gosh, 10, 12, 15 years ago now, I opened internet channels for all of my business ventures. I had my own music, which I've always created and not aggressively, but put out there for consumption in myriad ways. I was working with a small press at the time, trying to get that going. I had started an instrument page for this, what I do here, and my own music sales, um, and an author because I have a couple of books published. Um, you know, I found myself spending hours and hours just putting information out there, trying to market on the internet, on social media sites, and it's very time consuming. You're always posting videos, photos, write ups, um, reviews, what have you. You're constantly trying to get stuff out there so that you can drive people to whatever you're selling or whatever artwork you're into, so that you can have some sort of feedback or consumption of what you're doing. And I found that the time put in didn't wasn't worth the reward. So I found myself scaling back after a couple of years of doing that. I'd get rid of that page, or I'd merge those two together. I'd only make certain kinds of posts, and now it's dwindled down to nothing. I don't bother sort of feeding these videos into my Facebook account. I have a page for my instruments business. I don't bother anymore because it doesn't seem to make that much difference in terms of how many viewers come to watch these videos. Seems like the YouTube people are YouTube people, and they'll find out about your stuff through the app itself, getting some people to click a link from another application involves time and some sort of investment, and a lot of people just keep scrolling. So yeah, I'm just wondering if this is a trend that I'm sensing that you may agree with or not. You may think that it's as bad as ever. Whenever I go on the bus or I'm out in public, everyone has their head down and is thumbing away on their phones. I'm not saying that we're getting away from that. I think we're as reliant upon being tethered to the online experience, whatever it is, wherever you go online. I think we're as bad as ever. I think we're worse than ever. I think people have a hard time being alone, have a hard time being disconnected, have a hard time being away from that source of appropriation and validation. Um, and, and really, they're lost without their phones for even 5 minutes. And it's the first thing they do. And they go anyways, they whip that thing out and they're thumbing away. I'm not saying that's dying. I'm just saying that the social media joy, the experience of the social media connections and what's possible through those connections seems to be waning, seems to be lessening. Now, I know a lot of young kids have already flocked away from Facebook and they're all on IG, and soon as, at some point they'll leave IG and go somewhere else. They're probably on TikTok or something else. That's always going to happen. You're always going to have migratory patterns with social media that have to do with age, gender, even possibly even background, social background. But I'm talking about, in general, more people are spending less time and are not investing at the same rate. Just think about when you first started doing social media. All the memes you used to repost, all the things you saw and you reposted it. Everything you did in your hobby or whatever was a photo, was a meme, was a video, was a soundbite. Think about how that compares to now. And for some of you, maybe you're as active as ever, but for a lot of us, from what I'm hearing, we've cut back. It's less interesting. We're less enamored with it. We find less payoff for all that time invested. Most of us go onto Facebook now, scroll for a few seconds, get bored, and then go off and do something else. It's not the sort of hangout, perhaps, that it was in times past. And there are a lot of people who used to be very active on there, and I see nothing on their accounts anymore. They've just sort of checked out. And this could be a good thing. I mean, how does this relate to all this, the guitar world? Well, it can be a bad thing because obviously it's a tool, but it can be a good thing because, sometimes this vicarious living, this sort of constant memeing and liking, so this instant gratification thing, gets in the way of any really meaningful relationship or business that you could make with people. So it can go both ways. I wouldn't mind if the whole thing died, actually, and we got back to sort of, more face-to-face stuff. I do like YouTube. I do like this medium here. And I feel like this medium is more conducive to time management. For instance, I'll go on YouTube and I'll do half an hour. I'll watch some videos. I'm gone. YouTube is not something I do all day. It's not something I'm constantly doing all the time. So I think it's slightly different than Facebook. I usually go to YouTube for a purpose. Like I'm going to watch Ted Woodford repair a guitar neck. I'll see how he does it. I've gone with a purpose. I'm not just sort of flipping around YouTube going, what's new? I don't tend to do that. I tend to have some sort of a stated purpose in my mind. I'm going for a particular viewing experience. Once in a while I go on there like what everyone else, and it'll suggest something to you and you'll say, I'll check that out. I'll see, one of your people that you subscribe to has got something new. It looks interesting. You might be sucked in that way. But I don't think that instant gratification thing is quite as nailed on as it is with things like Facebook and Instagram, which relies more on that sort of, knee-jerk response type of thing. So anyway, you might find this all a waffle and completely meaningless in the world of guitars and musical instruments. But I think that social media has become such a big tool. And it's funny that I'm talking about doing it less. I just found a Facebook page for local guitar traders that I joined, so that people who live around me, I can be more connected with. Um, those things often don't work out, though. You normally join those things, you get on there, you have a few chats, you see what's going on, and you just fade away because it's not really that engaging, or it doesn't really produce anything meaningful. So, every once in a while I try something new out, but in general, I would say in general, and you tell me if I'm wrong, please do. I find that we are moving slightly away. We're becoming less enamored, addicted even, perhaps. We're spending less time. We're looking for alternatives to the social media experience. You let me know what you think and how it relates to your playing or guitar collecting. Do you rely on it? Do you need it? Could you do without it? All right, folks. See you next time.